Hi everyone, do you mind if I make a little video about meditation? I just had these thoughts and I wanted to share with you. Meditation is, first of all, I've categorized meditation into two different types. The first part is simply to quieten your mind, so you become more aware of your thoughts as your mind quietens. It's like if your mind is full of noise all the time, you don't notice a consistent background noise, and it becomes part of your surroundings and you don't even notice the hum in the background anymore. So the more you quieten your mind, it's like you're like a room, and when you hear a sudden noise in a quiet room, it's obvious you become aware of that noise. It's like, well, what's that? So that's like your thoughts or your emotions. This is the first reason to meditate. It's to quieten your mind and to become more aware of a thought or an image when it arises. So you don't become lost in your thoughts and believe them wholeheartedly, and you don't become lost in your programming, your fears, your automatic reactions, your conditionings, and all of the drama and commotioning and suffering this causes. You no longer don't have free will, because when you're lost in your reactions and your reflexes, you're not choosing what to do anymore. Your emotions have taken over you and your thoughts have taken over you. So this is the first part of meditation, and usually people do it in a quiet room or a quiet place, so they don't have many distractions anymore. So it's easier to become aware of any thoughts or emotions inside of them. So really, in this sense, meditation is about having an expanded awareness of what's happening here in this moment. On the inside, thoughts, emotions, images, reactions, etc. And then an expanded awareness and seeing the present moment on the outside, such as people, sights, sounds, colours, textures, scenery, movement, stillness. So an expanded awareness is about being aware of the outside content of the present moment, if you want to categorize it as outside, and being aware of the inside form or content of this present moment, which is your mind, your thoughts and your images, and your emotions. Okay? So now, the second part of what meditation leads to, when you do have a quieter and quieter mind, and you don't really have to wait too long to experience this, but the second part for me, to simplify it, of what meditation is to feel the silent presence of who you are. The gap of silence in between thoughts, the background watcher, being here as the witnessing presence of anything you're aware of, either on the outside or on the inside, the observer. All of these are thoughts, or all of these are words to describe the same thing. Consciousness, awareness. So formless, unmanifested. The formless that is here always in the present moment, you, soul, spirit, as the awareness that is aware of all of the content, be the content to the outside, or be the content on the inside. So we can be aware of ourselves as be alert and awake and present as the awareness that's here now in the present moment, and it's much easier to feel this life form that you are alive right now if your mind is stiller. And to make things even nicer, you can feel this and have free will. You can be alert and awake now in the present moment, not only when you're in a quiet room with no distractions, or when your eyes are closed. Or your eyes are closed to shut off sensory perception of sight. So you can meditate, so to speak, even when your eyes are open and when you're doing things. You can live with an expanded awareness even when you're out in the real world doing things and participating in life and interacting with people. So for me, it's not meditating in a quiet room is good for a beginner or good for starting off, but really you want to incorporate this feeling of presence of who you are, the inner stillness, the formlessness. You want to integrate this into all of your life. Absence of thought So instead of having a continuous stream of thought, there's regular gaps of no thought. And if you are thinking, you know that you're thinking. So the thoughts aren't automatically happening to you. When you don't know thoughts and emotions are happening to you, you get controlled by them, you get taken over by them. You become the thoughts and emotions, you become the reaction. You are no longer there as the witnessing presence. You're just a reflex, a reaction. Fear, attachment, pain, hurt, traumas or wounds from the past, overreactions. So it's lovely to meditate in a quiet room or in nature with your eyes closed or with your eyes open. So you can become aware of all of these things that cause you suffering and take you over and control your life. Things that cause drama, conflict and commotion and pain in your life. Okay? So also, if you're practicing meditation, I would recommend practice being still and aware and shift your attention into the present moment. And look around and just see here. Take attention out of the mind, out of thoughts and images. Thoughts and images of the past and thoughts and images of the future. So take it all out of thoughts and images of the past and the future, and come here into the present moment and move your attention here now. And this is a form of type of meditation, you could call it. You only feel the soul that you are now. Because you and the present moment, you and the now are one, basically speaking. All of your life you've lived as the present moment. You've been here, you are here. Thoughts about the future and thoughts about the past. Memories and reliving the past. And imagining the future makes us think that time is real. But it always is now. All of your life and all of your life, it's always just now. So that's what meditation or enlightenment is very much so about. Eckhart Tolle describes enlightenment as feeling the presence, the knowing, the knower, in the background of your experience. Even if you're listening to me now, can you feel something there in the background that knows you're listening? Like the silent spaciousness. It's a bit harder when you're speaking, but even now I know that when I'm talking, I can experience and be aware that my mouth is moving and sound is coming out of my mouth. So, Eckhart says it's feeling this presence always. That's what enlightenment is. You're never a reaction or a reflex. You're never a conditioned, predictable response. You're fresh and new and alive, and anything you could say, it arises from your presence, from the deep spaciousness of your being, the awareness. So insights and creativity come from this place. New thoughts, original ideas, very good problem solving and solutions come from this place, because it's undisturbed, it's untainted by a whole lot of distractions of conditioning and previous thoughts from other people. This place of no thought, or if you are thinking, this place of awareness in the background, it's the same thing, spaciousness. This is like who you are, and when you leave your body, so to speak, or astral travel, it's that's just you left over. It's like pure awareness, pure consciousness itself, and this is like peace and joy, and a timeless state of a feeling of timelessness. And many people having near death experiences or have said the same thing. They just or even spirits who are now longer in the body, that they experience a sense of no time. It's very different to what they're used to. But you can still experience this as a human. It just got to do with living in the constant now, as I'm talking about, because then time doesn't exist, or doesn't exist heavily anymore. It exists practically in a sense. It doesn't truly exist, but you use clock time, which you can call it clock time, for making arrangements, etc., for practicalities. So, a very famous and wonderful Indian spiritual teacher of the 20th century called Ramana Maharshi, he said He was asked one day, how can you measure your degree of success or progression on the spiritual path? And he answered specifically, the degree of spiritual progression on the spiritual path can be measured by the degree of your absence of thinking. So that means a lot. Like I said earlier on, you're no longer a conditioned reflex and reaction. You're consciously choosing with free will and awareness what you want to do and what you want to say and how you want to feel emotionally, because you're not triggered from hurts anymore. You live in complete acceptance because of the absence of thought, the absence of judgment, and the absence of resistance, and the absence of attachments, which are all thoughts, envisioning and needing the future, and all sorts of stuff. So that's my talk on meditation, basically. And I hope you get a better feel for what meditation is now. For me, I guess you could say meditation is living in the moment with an expanded awareness. It's a silent mind, or mixed in with being aware of any thoughts that are happening in your head, any images that are happening in your mind. Expanded awareness, the background spaciousness. So at any moment we can ask ourselves, who am I? That's what Ramana Maharshi, that was one of his little questions or mantras to himself. Who am I? And this invokes or invites the deeper I to surface and be felt as the background silent presence. For expanded awareness, you can ask yourself, how am I feeling at this moment? How am I feeling? What's going on inside of me? Is there any negativity in me at this moment? And this will help you become aware of any unconscious, unnoticed, unobserved thoughts that you might be believing, and images, etc. Fears. So if you ask yourself, how is there any negativity in me at this moment, or how am I feeling? And you then realize, yeah, actually I'm feeling a bit tense and or anxious or uneasy. Then you can just become present in the moment and become aware more acutely, more vividly of the thoughts and images going on in your head. And then you can see and understand why you're feeling uneasy or anxious. You become aware of the relationship between your thoughts and your emotions, your mind and images and things you envision and imagine about the future, and your emotions, the things you remember and relive in your head from the past. Be it 10 seconds ago, a minute ago, or 10 years ago, that's the past. So you become aware of the relationship between your emotions and the stuff in your mind. So through becoming aware, then you get the chance to drop what's causing you to suffer. You become aware of your judgments and resistance and attachments and your fears, the things you're emotionally dependent on. That's also called an attachment, a need. And becoming aware and dropping these little by little, and gradually you get to become free emotionally and just have a much greater enjoyment of life in the present moment, because you're free from all the blocks. You get rid of the blocks. Spirituality is about letting go. So meditation is very much intrinsically involved with expanded awareness. And as a help to feel the formless being that you are, to feel it, not to think, not to understand it mentally really, but just to feel it you can ask yourself, who am I? But you can also listen to the silence, as well as paying attention to the form of the present moment, the things, the content, which include your emotions and thoughts on the inside, your images. You can become aware of the absence of sound, formless silence. So it's really only the formlessness in you, in a way, that can notice silence in the world. So becoming aware of silence in the present moment is to become aware of your own being. And you'll notice if you actually pay attention to silence, you'll have an absence of thought for a few moments, and you'll feel very peaceful and relaxed, and you'll feel a subtle joy or happiness, contentment, and ease and easiness. And maybe you'll feel a sense of love emanating too. So kind of like a love or feeling of connection with other people or other things. Because in another video I just mentioned, and Eckhart Tolle talks about it too, peace and joy and love are who we are. It's part of our essential being of who we are. And many people, when they've died or talked through psychics or mediums or whatever, or they've had near-death experiences, they also mention how they just like felt like a lovely sense of peacefulness and love and no time, and like just lovely peace and all this stuff. So that's wonderful, and we can feel this when we're alive too. One other thing, Buddhist mindfulness is similar. It's about expanding your awareness in the present moment. But in Buddhist mindfulness, which I think is really good as a stepping stone towards feeling the formless awareness that you are, they talk a lot in the mind, like breathing in, I feel peace. Or breathing in, I am washing the dishes. Breathing out, I feel peace. And then they repeat this. But you don't necessarily need to be saying all these words in your mind. You can just simply drop the words and be aware of what you're doing. So it's good as a stepping stone to quieten your mind. And so you're minimizing thoughts about a million different things in all directions, past and future. You're minimizing it down to breathing in, I'm washing the dishes. Breathing out, I feel peace, or I feel happy. So obviously, if your mind is causing you a lot of suffering and stress, if you reduce your mind to just these two sentences, you're obviously going to experience far less suffering and you'll feel good. But we can keep progressing and get to beyond this point of feeling the formless peace, joy and love that we are. Expanded, just pure awareness itself, and which is beyond the mind, so, and understand our own programming, etc. too. So thank you for watching. Please feel welcome to friend me on Facebook, subscribe to my videos, and to share with your friends, and I'll catch you next time. Until then, be aware, enjoy life, and have a good old laugh today, because spirituality isn't too serious. So see ya. Keep laughing and enjoying life. See ya.